What is Steve Arts 89? Well, it is the 30th anniversary of Madonna's Bedtime Stories. Now, I just want to talk about the album for a minute because I love it. It's one of my favourites. And sadly, we don't appear to be getting any 30th anniversary edition of the album. I'm not seeing anything promoted. I'm not seeing anything anywhere. I thought maybe they'd do, a special edition. I thought maybe they'd do a coloured vinyl or something. I think they already did a coloured vinyl of Bedtime Stories. I'm not really up on the vinyl and the collectibles, so I don't know. I think they did it. But the only release that I know of was they did a couple of album collections, and one of them had this one with this really bizarre cover, which I don't understand. I don't understand why they flipped the art and gave it this horrible border. But I've heard from some people that there were albums released with this cover on CD back in the day. I never saw them. I'm glad I didn't, because I love the original cover. And even the back is not very well reproduced. Now, I don't have my CDs and CD cases anymore. I just have the booklets and the back panels in a box. And I have all my CDs in like holders, just to save space, because I don't actually physically play them very often. But yeah, this is kind of my first Madonna album, because it was the first one I was there for when it was released. I knew it was coming out. I anticipated it. I waited for the day. I had to go out and get the album and then bring it home and listen to it. And I remember doing that. I remember having to go from Georgetown, where I lived. I had to catch the bus to Launceston to go to, I don't think it was Brash's. I think I went to Fitzgerald's, had a CD department, and I think they're probably the better priced. And the person there would always give me the Madonna posters and that. And I got some really nice Madonna stuff back in the day. And I went in, I bought it, some shopping, I went home, I sat down, and I sat on my bed with the album, and I, opened it up, and, it had a beautiful fold out, with artwork and everything, and I sat down and I read the lyrics and I listened to the album, because that's what you did. You bought your album and you sat down and you listened to the lyrics and you read through the lyrics in the book and you looked at the pictures, and it was a whole experience. And it was the first time I'd had that experience, because I had heard of other albums. Of course, I had them all on CD, but they were all like after the fact. I knew about them. They weren't new. This was the first time I actually had to, I knew it was coming. I anticipated it. I saw it on its release and watched the whole era unfold. And Madonna was in a curious place, because she had just been absolutely roasted for erotica in the sex book, and this was seen as an attempt to soften her image. But she also, was, I think Evita was in discussion at that point, and she knew that they were going in that direction, and she knew she had to sort of prepare people and ease people into Evita. So after this, we got Something to Remember, which was like a ballads album, and of course the Evita soundtrack and Evita the film. And some people felt that Madonna was aging out and she was just going to go and make old ballad albums, or albums of standards or something after this, and she was sort of done. There was that feeling that she was aging out of the industry. But of course she came back 3 years later with Ray of Light and blew everyone out of the water. And that was my second Madonna album experience, because Something to Remember was just greatest hits, and Evita was a soundtrack and a movie. And so Ray of Light was the second time I got to anticipate an album and go out and buy it and come home and sit down and listen to it and read the lyrics from the booklet while I was, watching it, listening to it, I keep saying watching it. But yeah, I just have really fond memories of it, because it was really my first Madonna album. And the singles, of course, are amazing. I loved Secret. Everyone loved Secret. I really, really loved Human Nature, but it didn't go over well. The media didn't like being called out, and it had issues. I think it was banned on some level. Bedtime Story was also banned. There was a lot of talk of it being one of the most expensive music videos ever made, and the artistry of it all, but it was also seen as being like about drugs. Somehow they were linking that to what she was talking about, and unconsciousness and so forth, which it wasn't, of course, but they used that to basically ban it. It didn't get as much airplay, so those two singles didn't do so well. But then Take a Bow came out, and it was absolutely unstoppable. I remember I used to catch the bus to college, and they do the at least the top 10 countdown, and every morning for like 6 weeks, the last song as we pulled into the school was Take a Bow. every day for weeks and weeks and weeks. It was just huge. And obviously Madonna wasn't going anywhere. And, she may have had to soften her image a little bit, but, she wasn't going anywhere and she was going to come back. So it was great. I'm glad that I have the album. I'm glad that I had that experience with it. I have fond memories for it. I just wish they'd do something special for the anniversary. They should be doing this for each of our albums. Each 10, 20, 30, 40 anniversary, they should be doing something special. We didn't get much. We got a couple little things for her overall 40th anniversary of her career starting, but that's about it. So, yep. Madonna team, do better. Give us something. But the album itself, my memory of it, is pretty good. And I just wanted to reflect on that for a minute for the fun of it. I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you think of Madonna's bedtime stories.